are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks.
Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New Year, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City unis, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it. The year is 24 and the Knicks are hardcore. Tibbs defense been making it hard to score.
Junkyard dog.
Trained in the art of war. Heart hit the floor and start flying like parkour. Brunson cooking them like a Bunsen burner. The chemistry between this team is unheard of. That Villanova connection so fraternal. Devo catch flames and it's Dante's Inferno. Sterno. Heat teams like barbecue chicken. Even through the injuries and all, we still ticking, still sticking to the script. It's real gritty. This is still the Mecca, the garden is still litty. It's the Knicks City. Nobody mentioning Nets. We got now when ain't nobody getting next. Respect the set. Whole gang been catching wreck. All game is Wu-Tang, protect your neck. Name a squad with this heart that be hard to find. Boys get bullied by some guy named Hartenstein. OGs locked down and there's no keys. Precious really been a blessing, no sneeze. Bro, please, these teams getting dismantled. All-Star Randall been making it hard to handle. They talk smack, but the boys gon' get him. Burks came back and brought Boyan with him. Mitch is on the men, he'll be back on the block soon. Deuce value going up in the stock room. Keeping up in the standings, we on pace. Whole city gearing up for the championship race. 50 years plus, the fans are still waiting. Kenny switched up, but Candace still hating. Perk told him big body Brunson been 1A. Leon got us about to take off on the runway. Sims protect the rim, he go hard in the paint. Spike still getting hype at the Garden every game. Dishing and swishing and Knicks doing they thing. Every big three, Mike Breen still yelling bang. We taking over arenas, we make trips. They big mad, I know that they hate this. Underrated teams, we stay on their short list. We are New York, we are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City unis, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
What's going on? We are back, baby. You see it. Ron, John, Jose, we here, baby. Thank you for tuning into SKF Weekly, folks. We are back. Happy Monday to y'all. Hope your Easter weekend was popping. Hope you had some good, enjoyable family time and blessings to the Lord. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody for being here and rocking with us. We got a lot to talk about. It's been an up and down week for our Knicks. But we're going to get into it. And we also got a special guest. You saw the kick off the show. We had our guy, Cris Jordan, is in the building with a dope 24 anthem. That's what it's called, baby. It's fire. You see it. Hey, what we going to do, John? What we going to do, baby?
Off the charts fire, bro. Like, legit, the hottest verses that I've heard this year and culminating the entire year and what we've been through. Love it. I love this. So we definitely got to get this more out there in the public, in Knicks, in Knicks Station, and just like the Knicks universe. We got to get this guy like seen and heard and like I can't say much about it. Like once I heard it, I was so hype. I was like, "Yo, this is it right here. This is it."
Yeah. I knew John was excited. He reached out to me immediately. Hey, all right, I got you. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, man, but it's gonna be a dope show. Really excited. But other than that, everything's good. How you feeling? Family good? You had a good Easter?
Everybody good. Listen, man, everybody good.
Okay.
Everybody's healthier. I mean, they were all a little sick. The twins were sick. They were, bedridden for a little bit. Had to help out the wife and get them right, and they're good now. They're good.
But
So
we on the mend.
we definitely on the mend. Sniffles and
There we
all,
go.
but they better.
There
They
we
better.
go.
They're good.
There we
I
go.
appreciate that.
There we go. Salute to everybody. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all know how it is. It's Monday night. There's a lot going on in the community as usual. There's also, I know a lot of people have been talking. This is probably a wild time today because instead of me hearing stuff about the Mets, the Yankees, the Knicks, any Jets, anybody, everybody's talking about LSU and Iowa and the women's. I'm like, okay, all right.
Women's
It's
basketball,
shifting
man.
over here.
NCAA. That's good.
Yes. So I know everybody's been locked into that tonight. So, and looked like Caitlin was getting busy. She had 31 points
Yeah.
going into the fourth quarter. And that was a while ago. So, I don't know. I guess the game is over. I don't know. I'm not watching it. So I apologize. I'll have to catch the highlights.
Someone
But yeah,
in the
man.
chat who watched might as well share.
Yeah,
where we're
let
at.
us know what happened
Let
or
us
what's
know
going
what
on,
happened
man, because
this
we
game.
out the loop right now. All right. But without further ado, let's get it cracking. Let's do this. Let's do a quick little roll call. Shout out to everybody in the chat and then bring our guy up here so we can chop it up. Just want to give a quick
Absolutely.
shout out to y'all because y'all been here patiently waiting. Thank you guys for that. So that being said, shout out to my guys. All the peoples, man. Big task at hand. Dat Franco in the building. Deron Wayne, JJ's here. D Block is in the building. We got let me see, Flamethrower, my guy. Fliggity 718 is in the building. What's up, 713 Gamer? Appreciate you. Walter Blackman is here. Mark Alvarado, appreciate you. Rome Fall Rock, Shaw Powers, everybody. Appreciate y'all, man. All right, so let's get it cracking. And appreciate y'all who are watching but aren't in the chat because we know some of y'all don't like to be get your typing on. It's cool. And also, if anybody's watching on any other platform, by all means, appreciate y'all as well.
Facts.
All right. So without further ado, let's bring our guy up, man. You seen the joint. You seen how, it just, I knew it was something as soon as it came in with the Go New York and then the beat drop. Oh, I was like, okay. All right, let's bring our guy here, man. Cris Jordan in the building. Yeah,
How y'all doing?
what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, man, I can't call it. Just chilling. How y'all doing?
Appreciate it,
Excited
man.
to have
we
you
doing
on,
good, man. Appreciate having you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Definitely happy to have you here.
Definitely.
We're gonna talk
So
Knicks
listen,
today.
guys.
Definitely gonna do that.
Yeah,
That's all we talk,
definitely
right?
talk Knicks. We definitely gonna talk Knicks. But before we get into that, before we get into the Knicks stuff, listen, we gotta honor and represent our people, man. Life is what it is. You know what I mean? We need people to do what they got to do in certain capacities, and Cris is one of those capacities, man. He is one of the proud, faithful firefighters. Helping protect our cities. You know what I mean? And be out there on the front lines doing what he's got to do. So I just want to say thank you for your service, my brother. Appreciate you and everything you do, and to all your fellow firefighters and everybody out there who do that, because that's an incredible job. And it's definitely, I can't even imagine the type of stuff that you have to go through and deal with on a daily basis. But we definitely appreciate everything you do for us, man.
Yeah,
Definitely
a selfless job. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
It's rough.
yeah. I could imagine, brother. But that being said, I just want to give kudos for you and what you do on your daily. But let's get into how you came up with doing this track, man, because this track is fire. Obviously, you're a Knicks fan, so we see the allegiance. But what gave you the idea, the inspiration to do this joint?
Yeah, so it kind of started a while ago. My brother, he goes by the name of the Mad Fanatic. He does music for the Broncos, right? He's a Broncos fan. How that happened, I don't know, but he's a Broncos fan. So he's been doing music for the Broncos for years. You know, and I just kind of sit on the sidelines and watch him. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently with surrounding first responder mental health and stuff like that. That's kind of the music I've been doing for a minute. But you know, it could get a little that could get a little dark sometimes, you know? And so it actually started realistically. It started this last football season. I'm a Jets fan, right? So I just made a couple joints for the Jets. And it felt good to do. You know what I mean? There was people liking it. I made a song for Jermaine Johnson. He reposted it. He was like, yo, it was like a song for him. He was like, yo, this junk is crazy. Like, it's about to hype me up. So, you know, as the season was going on with the Knicks, and I was just like, you know, when we clicking, man, that feeling is good. So as the season was going on and you know, a couple players went down and we still was clicking and we still was, you know, doing our thing. I just like, yo, what if we redid the Go New York Go from 94, right? So I feel like that was the first part really for me, was kind of like, all right, let me find a producer that could get the beat dead right. I mean, I make beats myself, but with the samples, I'm not like super crazy with it. So I found my boy Kevorkian that I rock with. Shout out to Kevorkian. And I sent him the 94 joint. And so he took that, he chopped it up, basically came up with something like 2024-ish. And then after that, the lyrics, man, they just flowed. The lyrics just flowed after the beat came. But yeah, man, that it really just came with like, listen, we kind of ending the season. You know, we got to end the season off strong. We going into the postseason. I say, yo, let's get something to hype the fans up, hype the players up. You know, get this real strong postseason run that I feel like we could have. So that's kind of where that all came from.
Wow, it's dope. It's a great idea, man.
It's perfect,
you know,
timing.
It's nice. It's nice when you have something like that, right? When you come up with an idea, you know, why don't I do this, right? And you know, you obviously got the talent to pull it off, but then when you execute it and it comes out fire, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is what I'm talking about. That's how I saw it, and this is how. Sometimes that don't happen. The best laid plans don't always work out, you know. So, but that's dope,
I mean,
man.
it took a minute. It definitely took a minute because I always try to do everything myself. And sometimes when it comes to music, I really don't like ask for help. You know what I'm saying? So I did a couple cut ups myself for the beat, and it you know, it wasn't moving me, you know. But I was like, listen, like I broke it down to him. I told him what I was trying to do. I was like, I'm trying to incorporate the same chant, you know, to Go New York, go. Because I didn't want to deviate from it too much, right? I wanted it to still be the same thing. I wanted to shout out to Jesse Isler. I wanted to pay homage to the original song because, you know, I was a kid when I first heard this song. So I grew up listening to this song. You know, and then kind of giving him the beat and him sending it back. I mean, he sent it back like next day. And I was like, soon as it hit, I was like, oh yeah, we got one. I was like, yeah, we got one. We got one right here.
And there's no easy feat to say, you know, the lyrics really gotta like land, because there's something to be said. Like it's easy enough to say, yeah, I'm gonna put, you know, certain terminology with certain names, you know what I mean, and sort of mix the bars up. But it's one thing to say it and sort of play with those words, but something about the way you delivered it really hits for me. You know what I mean? It's just the flow of it. For me, it's like the biggest thing is like it flows well. It touches every base about what we're going through in this season and where we're at right now. And that's why I love it so much, because I'm like, yo, you touching every cylinder right now when it comes to the lyrics and how it's progressively going through the motion of the season, right? When you talk about like, you know, even the injuries you put in there, like we're going through injuries, but we're still in it. You know what I mean? And I love that about the way you presented it, and then in your delivery, the cadence of it is like on point with some of, you know, the rappers of this day and age. You know what I mean? It's like it's not
Right.
an old school flow. It's not a new school. It's like it's right in the pocket. You know what I mean? So I really dig it.
You listen, that for me that was big. Trying to like really, I felt like I wanted to get lyrics that Knicks fans was gonna understand. Like, yeah, anybody who hears it is gonna understand what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, obviously I'm talking about different players and I'm talking about all that, but even down to saying like some guy named Hartenstein, right? For me, it was like, how do I it sounds bad to say, but how do I take a shot at Stephen A, right? Because I feel like he's always like
that.
You know, he's always the most fair weather fan that you see out here. He's always and I just remember earlier in the season when he's like, "Oh, the Knicks ain't going nowhere. I gotta watch some guy named Hartenstein do blah 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 blah." And it's like, okay, yeah, you said that, but now what you saying when Hartenstein's balling? You don't got nothing to say. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everybody else talking about, yeah, Hartenstein's working himself into a bag right now. And so for me, it was like I really wanted to just like kind of connect everything with the season and just, you know, make something that we could feel, you know, because listen, everybody says it and it's the truth, but we know more than anybody as Knicks fans, right? The league is better when the Knicks is winning. 100%. When the Knicks is playing good, man, the league is better, and we better. You know, we done been through
100%.
We done been through some struggles.
Yeah, man,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, y'all been struggling with me, but I've been struggling.
Yeah,
well,
30 years plus.
No, I hear you. We with you. So let me ask you this: because, I mean, you know, because we know that you do, you know, you've been there and know the struggle. When did it start? When did the struggle start for you? Like, when did it all start? Your Knick fandom?
I say probably around like 93. 93 is when I really started watching the Knicks with my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And then it was good for me. It was good for me I mean, obviously we ain't win the chip, but for years we was constantly winning. We was a contender. You knew we was going to be in the playoffs and stuff like that. And so I was telling John, I became a firefighter because of my uncle. And I became a Knicks fan because of my uncle. Right. So when I was younger, I'm close with my dad, but my uncle was always like, you know how it's different. It's different with parents, right? Your parents is kind of like you might be cool with them, but sometimes it's only to a certain level, right? My uncle was always that. He was that cool uncle. He was always like putting me on game. Like my uncle's really the reason that I'm good at rap, because when I was younger, he used to break down lyrics for me, like, and he would break down what it meant. Oh, when this dude says this is what he's talking about, right? So I was like this. So every time I used to stay at his crib, it was always like, yo, man, let's throw the Knicks on. And so it started real early for me. I probably was about 7, 8 years old when I started watching. And that's I ain't gonna give my age away, but that's a kind of that's a little grip.
Yeah, that's a little something. But hey, listen, man, if there was a time to become a Knick fan, that was a great time to start watching them, because they were pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo, a funny thing is that the year that I took the firefighter test, the day of my test was it game 6? It was game 5, right? I think that year the year that we lost to the Pacers in the playoffs, the 54-win season when we had Kidd, all them. You remember the game they wore black to the Celtics game? And then they ended up losing. They wore black, but they said they was coming to the funeral. It was the next game. So the game that they closed it out was the day of my firefighter test. And as it was getting closer to the time of the game, I just started hitting like C B C A D C.
Oh crap!
Yo, I left
Luck
out
of the
the I left,
draw.
yeah, I left out the test. Well, it was only like 50 questions, but I left out the test. I said I'm probably gonna fail this, but I got to get to the part to see the game, man.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's like the
Yeah.
SAT test, right? From back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Like, hey, if all else fails, you put the letter C. All else
Yeah.
fails, you circle C. You good.
My
You got a
brother used to
25% chance of being right.
yeah, you know, my brother always used to tell me, he said, just spell out abracadabra. Obviously, there's no R, right? He said, yo, we'll just go down and keep spelling abracadabra. He was like, and like magic, you're going to pass.
That's- I never heard that one. That's interesting.
wild.
Okay. All right. Huh. Learn
But yeah,
something
man,
new
I've been
every day.
rocking with
That might work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully you don't have to take
yeah,
a
that's-
test like that.
Yeah. Definitely not, man. I think my testing days are over. At least I hope they are.
Fact.
Yeah, that's dope. So, growing up, did you have a favorite player?
Obviously, Ewing, right? For me, was Ewing was it. But Houston, man, I really rocked with Houston. I still remember the floater in the Miami game. For me, you know, but Starks. I like that whole team. Dirk, when I was growing up, that whole team was that probably was outside of this team. That was my favorite team. You know what I'm saying? Like as a whole, I really rock with Melo. I feel like Melo kind of got a raw deal. You know what I'm saying? Personally, in my opinion, I feel like once Phil Jackson came and tried to kind of implement a system that really wasn't made for Melo, and then it just was, you know, in the media, they just kept like, I feel like they were putting stories out about him and he just always held his head up. So I really, really rock with Melo. But I do question if, like, when it's all said and done, is Brunson going to be like, is he going to be, you know what I'm saying? For me,
That one, right?
he might be that one. It depends how far we go, but I just feel like, man, just that dude's special, man. He just got something, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't like this take, but I really, really rock with Julius, man. I feel like he came in a time where dudes wasn't trying to come here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that to me, man, and you think about the team that he took to the 4 seed that year. Alfred Payton. You know what I'm saying? That team really wasn't it, but he carried them. So, but I say first is Ewing. I say right now with the body of work, Melo second for me. But I think Brunson might surpass. He might surpass everybody. Honestly. What about y'all?
I feel sort of the same way. You know what I mean? I was a big fan of John Starks more so than Ewing, because I grew up, you know, playing the guard position. You know, I didn't know what it was like to be 7 foot, unlike Ron. You know, so I always played the point guard and 2 guard positions. So for me, I was all John Starks. You know, and Greg Anthony, I was a fan of, and all the guard plays. You know, and then as I got older, you know, I fell in love with Jason's Kidd's game, you know, as a high schooler. So just had to sort of mimic what he brought and Jay Will brought, you know, White Chocolate. And so I attribute those games to my game a lot. But, you know, for Knicks all time, it was definitely John Starks, Allen Houston. I love Anthony Mason. I was a big fan of Anthony Mason as well. And then, Melo was a definite. It was exciting to get Melo here. I never thought we would have the opportunity to get a Melo type player here. And then when he was, when the trade happened, I was like all in. I was like super excited. And you're right. He probably had like 1 year where they had a real opportunity. That year they started my, went crazy in the behind the scenes, and I think he hit he punched the I don't know if it was the wall, but it was the
fire
fire
extinguisher.
extinguisher. Yeah, he decided that he wanted
Look
to
at
do
that.
that. It was
Apropos.
crazy.
We got Cris in the building. See what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like, it made no sense. But that was the one year where I felt like we had an opportunity with Melo. But after that, they really didn't surround him with the right players or the right coaching. You know what I mean? And then the whole, Linsanity thing happened, and we all know what the story is there. So, but yeah, I would agree with you. Melo's definitely a top dog, and should retire as a Knick, I think, personally. I mean, he spent the same amount of seasons with the Nuggets, more or less, but I think more so. I think he meant more for New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he.
No, go ahead, Cris.
No, I was just gonna say I think Melo feels more like a Knick.
Yeah.
Even when you look at last year's Nuggets championship run, he was at what, like one game?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's always in the Garden.
Always in the Garden. And he's repping for us all the time, right?
All the time.
Like,
yeah.
he reps Red Hook, because he grew up in Red Hook.
Right.
He reps, he has his new show, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. He's here repping it hard in New York City. His son definitely reps New York City. He was born and raised here. So, he's definitely, his roots are here. You know what I mean? His favorite player was Bernard King growing up. So, like, he's definitely a New Yorker by heart, you know what I mean? Even though he grew up in Baltimore for the most part of his teenage life, So, but definitely,
yeah, agree.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, I probably, like, I'm a big fan of Melo and his game, as far as people that I actually got to witness and see and understand what I was looking at, because I was around to see Bernard King, but I didn't know what I was looking at. You know what I mean? I'm just a kid looking at the screen. I don't know nothing about no ball. I'm looking. Oh,
you old, bro.
You old. But my era was that same time when you started watching was when I started I was really locked into the Knicks at that point. And I was watching, and my favorite player was John Starks. He wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst. But I loved his heart. Like, his heart is what. Yeah, his heart is what did it for me, man. And then I eventually, I started to really appreciate Patrick Ewing. The longer I was a Knick fan, the more I started to appreciate him, because I started to see, like, Ewing got a bad rap because of his personality and how I think I mentioned this on Saturday's show too, like his personality and how he wasn't the greatest media personality. The media didn't love him at all.
Right.
He sometimes didn't want to give interviews, or if he did, he was short with them. He didn't give them a lot of sound bites that they could use. The fans, he wasn't necessarily ingratiating to the fans. When he had a bad game, like, he was upset. He wanted to go to the locker room and get ready for the next game. But so that kind of rubbed people the wrong way, and he just wasn't the best ambassador for the New York Knicks. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he was great. I mean, he was great.
Yeah,
he's a top 50 player for a reason. So yeah, I mean, so he gets a bad rap in my. If I had to go in order, Starks, Ewing, Melo, and now Brunson is creeping up into that next stratosphere of guys that I've seen that I could say are like fantastic Knicks. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where.
Yeah, hopefully he has a long career. You know what I mean, and in the Knicks uniform and stays healthy, because it's really about health. You know what I mean? If a player of his stature could stay healthy, he's gonna be able to put up the numbers he's putting up. Like, there's no guarantee to anything, but there is a guarantee in the way he plays the game. You know what I mean? He's not a high volume. He's a high volume shooter, but he doesn't have to use his athleticism to do so. He's really just playing off of his natural talents, and his very his shiftiness. So I think he's going to be a solid player for years to come. And if we could surround him with the right mix of players, sky's the limit, right? For this team, for this franchise, and everything. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to what we got going on in the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So Ron, what are we gonna open up? We should open up the call. We should open up the calls and allow our fans to jump in if they want to jump in. Give us a call. Ask Cris any questions that they may have. While we talk about the Knicks, because we're gonna start chopping it up about this current Knicks team and what we're doing now.
Like it.
You know what I mean? So yeah, let's put up the number. Jose, if you got that number, throw that number up. There we go. Appreciate you.
So it looks like the game is over. It's been over for a little bit, like 19 minutes. LSU did wind up beating Iowa 94-87. Caitlin Clark had 41 points. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. Quiet as kept. That girl is the truth. Like every time she keeps showing more and more that she's the real deal. And then in the high pressure packed situation where you think it's going to be a big showdown and it's going to be that get back, she drops 41. Yeah, she's the real deal. So shout out.
You said LSU won?
I'm sorry. I meant Iowa beats LSU. Sorry.
I was about to say they were up 10. Bad. I was like, how?
No, it's the reverse. Iowa beat LSU, cool. So they are advancing to the Final Four, and they look like the favorites to win it all right now. I mean, some might say that was the one that they wanted to get. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Don't discount UConn,
man. But
though.
Anyway, the number.
Say that again.
Up,
say that again. Hold on.
Wait.
Don't just yet.
Uh-oh.
He said, don't discount UConn. Can't do that.
UConn is always, Gino Torrietta always has UConn ready to play. It's true. They are always somewhere in the mix. That's a fact.
I mean, we got to get by Juju tonight, but.
Yeah. Ain't no easy task there.
Man, you know what?
Squad.
My fault. I forgot. Maybe they're not the favorites. You know what I mean? Because there's some good squads still left. That's true.
Because South Carolina is the favorite, ain't it? Like, right from what people were saying, is it South Carolina or South?
That's true.
Right?
Ain't it USC?
Yeah. So
Juju's no joke. Juju is no joke. That's my bad. See, I forgot. I'm not locked in college. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to college stuff, I'm not locked in the way I used to be. I used to be a big Duke fan. I can't even tell you the last Duke game I watched. I know R.J. Barrett was there. So that's,
Grant Hill.
No, I'm sorry. That's sad. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so the phone lines are up, guys. Please, if you want to call in, the number is on your screen. It is right there. It is 347-305-7280. You're welcome to jump on the phone line and chop it up with us. We will definitely look forward to taking your call. So, that being said, we're talking about Jalen Brunson, right? You know what I mean? I think we might want to really do a little deep dive into his play this week. You know what I mean? Because he actually did a couple things. You know what I mean? He actually might qualify as something. We have something we do every week, and he actually has been that person 6 different times. This might be number 7, folks. I think Jalen Brunson might be our BBG baby. Yeah, I think he might be our big bucket getter. Yeah, so I don't know. Stay tuned because we might have a little something for him. So hold tight, folks. But I think that what's incredible to me, and before we get into that game, what's incredible to me is just his level of consistency. Can I do a little deep dive into Jalen Brunson? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. OKC. Great game. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Touch on it slightly. Great game. He had 30 and 7, right? Knowing that, and this is the thing, guys, we know every game right now, at least, that Jalen Brunson goes out there, the defense is like, stop Jalen Brunson. They ain't worrying about anybody else, really. It's stop Jalen Brunson. 30 and 7 against OKC, one of the top teams in the league. As a matter of fact, tied. I mean, technically they're in second place because of the tiebreaker, but they have the same record as the number 1 team in the West. So OKC is phenomenal right now.
Yeah, they took first place because of
Yeah,
yesterday's win.
they
Oh
took
no,
first.
because they beat us. Now they got first, right? So then you got, San Antonio. You dropped a little 61. Whatever. We'll talk about that.
This is something.
Little slight. You know what I mean? Then against Toronto, and this was the funny thing about this. He finished with 26.4 rebounds, 7 assists, right? But he was shooting poorly early. He was off early. He finished 11 of 19, 57%. Who is this guy? Detroit, 28 and 6. You know what I mean? 10 of 20, shot 50% from the field. It's just like he is one of those players that you can't even you can't really understand him. He's 6'1". He's not a traditional player. He likes to drive into the lane. He gets the contact. He don't get the fouls. He gets the contact. He finishes. He shoots 50% from the field for a guard. Like I don't know if people really are giving him his just due. They're talking, yeah, he's carrying the team. I don't know if they're giving him his just due. It is not easy to shoot at that level of efficiency, especially when everybody knows you're the only option. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, shout out to Jalen Brunson, man. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 100%. You said he don't get the fouls. I feel like he gets the same treatment Melo got. And I think the problem is, well, one, they feel like they don't ever respect New York, but I think the problem is he's so strong and he goes up so strong that it feels like they never think he gets hit. Like I used to remember Melo getting his headband to be down his face and he would get no calls. But obviously when you was in an era where LeBron was flopping, if you swiped his jersey and Melo was just going up strong, I feel like Brunson does the same thing, man. I feel like he just, for his size and his strength, like you see the way he finishes through contact. You know what I'm saying? You see the way they always say he plays off both feet, right? This dude is small, but he's trying to get to the rack on him like consistently. And I feel like he don't get the calls. He needs to be getting them superstar calls. That's what they need to do. But I feel like he don't necessarily sell it enough either, right? He kind of just finishes and then looks at the ref like, you just going to ignore the fact that dude just smacked me in the face? All right, it's all good. You seen him last night getting sarcastic when they made the call. Like,
yeah, he raised his hands up in the sky. It was like,
thank you.
Hilarious. Finally.
Bro, I mean, he gets no calls. It's crazy. It's crazy. I never seen a player of his caliber get that little calls.
I think what's going on, in my personal opinion, I think it's I think the league itself and maybe the NBA officiating is sort of using this time to like give him sort of the rookie treatment because he didn't really come in as a star and he's now becoming the star of a team, right? Like you can legitimately say he has solidified himself as the number one for this team this year, right? You could have said he could have been that last year, but the NBA themselves don't really, calibrate themselves like that. They'll sort of give you a year to see where you're at. But this year, he sort of formidable, like he lived formidable. I don't even know how to say the word, but he legitimately has taken over this team, right? He literally is the face of New York right now. So I think they're just giving them sort of that rookie treatment now. And I think in the playoffs, I'm hoping, and this is me being like an optimistic Knicks fan, I'm hoping that those calls become a regular thing. Like I'm hoping he gets the, you know what I mean? Like the star treatment in the playoffs and then on into the future. But we'll see.
Right.
As of right now, I agree with you. He don't get any calls because, again, he is that guy. He isn't flopping. He isn't, like he does take the charges that, you know what I mean? And, he plays his part, But, yeah, you're right. For the most part, he is doing a lot of complaining. But I grew up in an era where you don't complain too much to the refs. You know, you sort of like you play the game, you get back on the defensive side. There is a little bit of that going on, and I see his father gets at him from time to time, which I like. You know, that's a good thing having his pops there, because pops could tell him like, you know, stop crying. You know what I mean? Like, get back to playing ball. So,
But I don't feel like he been like that all year though. You know what I'm saying?
nah,
I feel
just
like,
recent though, right?
I feel
Like
like
more
he's
Well,
recently.
yeah,
down.
no, it's evolved into more complaining because he's getting beat up more because he's
Right.
doing more and he's like there's no help anymore. So now he's definitely complaining because he knows
Right.
that he's doing everything. So he's getting and look at the shot attempts that he's taking. Everything is ramped up. So he's getting exposed to it even more than he was before. And you know, shout out to Morning Brew Sports. I was watching this show earlier today, and they also touched on this topic about Melo and the foul calls. And shout out to Phil, who was looking at the stats, and he was saying, you know, some people have the argument that John had that, you know, maybe they're not giving him the calls because he's still earning that respect in the league. Like he's just starting
Earning
to
those
really grow
stripes.
into that
Right.
role. But then the other thing was, you know, he was pointing to, if you look at the most drawn fouls this year, there's guys like SGA who hasn't won anything. You know, yes, he's the man over there, but he hasn't won anything, hasn't done anything significant in the playoffs. Yet he's getting more calls, more foul calls than Brunson. Paolo Banchero has got 100 more foul attempts than Brunson. He's, you know, he definitely hasn't done anything yet. But
Right.
But Paulo
yeah,
is a star though. Like he was a star going into the league.
True.
Like he was their guy. Like they knew that. It wasn't Franz.
You know what I
Wagner.
think it is?
Like
No, right. You know what I think it is, John? And you know, Chris, you probably can attest to it too. I just think it's size. I think as size matters. Oh, pause.
look,
But anyway,
Randu says, "Welcome to my world." Right? Like
yeah.
superposed.
I really think it is. I think it's size matters all around, right? When it comes to Brunson has to, when he's going into the lane, he's preparing himself. It's the same thing like we used to see when Allen Iverson used to go into the lane. He's preparing himself that he's going to get hit, and how he braces his body to take that contact and try to stay upright or at least fall so you don't get hurt, because you know there's bad ways to fall, all that stuff, right? And for a short guy, he's got to learn how to do that, and I'm sure he's perfected it, right? But then a guy like Paolo Banchero, who's 6'9", 6'10", he goes into the lane. He ain't thinking, I'm going into the lane. You're going to have to foul me to stop me because I'm going into the lane. So that's the difference. And the ref might look at that and say, okay, well, that's a foul because, I mean, it's blatant. You got to hack this guy to stop him. It just looks easier to – and then the flip side of it is, back to size mattering, Julius Randle is so big and powerful. He's like a bull in a china shop. Sometimes they're like, well – he's so big. Like, how can the defense really stop him? Like, we got to give them a little leeway too, because he's just going to do this every time down the court. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
What they say, what they said is that he's beating up everybody else on the defensive side with his offense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he be playing bully ball, and I like it.
Yes.
So it's good. It's like, you know, you got to do that. You got to be that.
Yeah, you know, I'm not even as mad at Randall not getting calls as much as Jalen, and I agree with what you say. He is so shifty. Like, I feel like even last night with the call that they didn't call, right, that would have put us up 2. He maneuvered. Like, you could see him maneuvering his body out the way, right? So even though it was contact, the contact looked more incidental than probably what it was if he would have laid it up and kind of leaned into him, right? He didn't.
Right.
He kind of shifted to the left and did his thing. But I don't know about that rookie thing, man, because they had a quick whistle for Wemby, and I get it. He was number 1 pick, right? He was, but my man's like 8 feet tall, and you know what I'm saying? If you just tapped him, they was just blowing the whistle. So to me, that's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I
if
just
you
think
blow
that's
in his
crazy.
direction, he flails, man. Like the kid's lighting ass. Like there ain't nothing you can do about that. Like he can't stand, you know, contact. So it's like, you know, you're gonna see it a lot more on a kid that size who's pretty much a skeleton of a figure. You know what I mean? He's gaining weight. You could see he's gaining weight, but you know, you touch a kid like that and he's flailing because he ain't got the the size to just withstand someone, tapping his shoulder or something. It makes it look like a harder foul than it is. When it comes to like a Brunson, who's a more stockier player, it don't resemble much of anything, and I think that's part of it. And so that was one of the reasons why LeBron really, learned in his career that he needed to flip his arms out and do all of that flopping and all of that. Those antics came after his second year, because that first year when he came into the scene, the kid wasn't he was getting beat up too, and he really wasn't doing all of that. It wasn't until he really went to Miami where you start really seeing it, where he was like, oh well, now he's taking this to a whole new level. I don't know, man.
Yeah. He took the flop.
Point.
he became Manu Ginobili.
Yeah,
Manu was crazy with it.
Yeah. Manu was nuts. And look, it is what it is. We hope that Brunson starts to get the calls that he deserves. And I will say that even last night in the final seconds of that game, when he did get the call, when he got the layup that should have been an and one, even him moving his body, Lou Dort still hit him. So imagine if he didn't. And so I think in hindsight, I'd rather Brunson hit the layup and be comfortable enough to make the layup and get out the way, rather than draw the contact and go to the line, and then we got to see if he hits the free throws. At least he got the 2 points, but he should have got the foul call too. He should have got the foul call too. So it's like that. This year is really one of the worst years I've ever seen in officiating. And look, the commissioner's got to crack down. There's too many people complaining, too many teams, too many owners, too many coaches complaining about the product. The fans are disgusted in the type of refereeship that's going on. I don't even know if that's a word, but the way these refs are doing what they're doing out there is just not conducive to a good product. It's like a black eye on basketball. Some of the stuff we've seen is so ridiculous that even we've seen bad calls happen, but some stuff is so bad that no, this is not good. Like people who don't even know much about the game, oh, that was a horrible non-call, or that was a horrible call they made. It's bad. So they got to do something and clean it up, man, and get more consistency. It doesn't matter. Like Tom Thibodeau said, don't care. You're going to call everything a foul, call everything a foul. If you're not going to call everything a foul, don't call it. So at least we know what to expect when we play the game. That's all that matters.
And it got to be consistent. It got to be consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, you said he was the BBG, right? That's the big bucket getter. Mm-hmm. How many people know? How many people drop 61 and only take 6 free throws?
That's it's ridiculous, bro. That's
crazy.
Ridiculous.
6 free throws. And
we had, and I don't mean to cut you off. You continue. We had 12 free throws as a team. Come on, man.
12 to their 34 or something like that. The disparity was crazy.
32. It's crazy.
Yeah, 32. That's ridiculous, yo.
Home court advantage.
Oh my God!
It's wild, bro. Hey,
could you imagine if he got could you imagine if he got half the calls that he should have got? Half. How many you think he would have dropped? 70,
I
70.
He would have got 70. He would have got 70.
That's Kobe-esque.
Yeah, but being that you brought up that term once again, I don't know. Maybe he is. Yeah, as I said before, maybe it's time that we talk about him as being the BBG. You know what I mean? Hey, there he is, the big bucket getter. That's right, folks. Jalen Brunson, 61 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal on 53% shooting from the field and 38% from 3. Now, a lot of fans were feeling a little funky about it because he took 47 shots. You tell me, how you going to feel bad about somebody who took 47 shots and hit 53% of them? Come on, man. That's crazy. That's nuts.
And he needed to do it because everybody else was not clicking. If it wasn't for Brunson, we would not be in that game. Real talk. We were down, 15, 18?
That game was wild.
Yeah, it was wild. nobody was clicking. And then, like the shots that we were taking were poor. We were outrunning on fast breaks, not finding our open players. We were turning the ball over ridiculously. It was like, even Deuce, who's been playing well, didn't seem like he wanted to shoot the rock that game. And it's like, so for me, if it wasn't for Brunson, we ain't even in this game. We're not even talking about like having a chance to win the game.
Blown out, bro. We got blown out.
Fact.
Easy.
Yeah.
Against the third worst team in the NBA.
Oh, it makes it even worse.
You set your life and your day up a certain way, man. You see the schedule. You say, oh, they got the Spurs. It's going to be a nice, relaxing game. Let me just sit here, chill. Watch the boys gel a little bit, and then you come in and they down 15 right off the hop. You like, oh my God, exactly. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
It's my pet peeve, man. If I could turn games off, I would do it. But I can't do that. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a diehard. I'm still a Knicks fan for a reason. I can't do it. But like, I hate when the Knicks come out flat to start games. It's my pet peeve for watching them, because I know how much harder they have to work to get back in the game and try to win it. It's just it's like you forcing yourself to play a different style of basketball that you're not even ready for. You know what I mean? You're ready to play the game up to your best ability. You're not ready to play like your life depends on it. That's a difference. It's like, they're running around with like a chicken with their head cut off, trying and shout out to them, because they did a fantastic job in that third quarter to get back in the game behind Brunson scoring and them playing good defense and showing maximum effort. So shout out to them.
There was a moment in that game with the Spurs that, and I don't remember if it was like the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth quarter, where they wanted to get the lead, and they were just like wide open, and they were missing the easy layup like multiple times. I was like, yo, you gotta be shitting me! Like, what's going on? Like, stop rushing. I think it was the beginning. Chill, relax.
Yeah,
it was one of those moments. I was like, Jesus Lord, like they don't want to win this game because they couldn't go up. And then they finally got the lead in the fourth, and I was like, all right, cool, bet. But yeah, it was one of those games, man, with even certain shots that they were wide open shooting, and it was like in and out the rim. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't falling.
Yeah. I mean, and shout out to the chat once again. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for jumping in and showing love. Please hit that like button. Show your love for the show, man. We got Chris Jordan in the building, creator of the 24 Anthem for our New York Knicks. If y'all didn't see it, please, replay gang, watch the rewind in the beginning of the show. We started it off, man. It's fire. Yeah. And you can definitely
we'll definitely end the show with it for sure.
Yeah,
we gotta end the show with it.
So I listen. It's tough because Brunson did get a little caught up. You know what I mean? Like, how do you not though? How often do you have a chance to put up some astronomical numbers in an NBA basketball game, let alone, you know what I mean? It's a Knick thing. You know what I mean? There's not too many people that have like Knick records. That's the one thing about some of our New York teams. Some of our New York teams don't have a lot of records because, quite frankly, we just haven't had. We've had good teams. We haven't had supreme talent. So sometimes there's records like, oh, this guy got 15 points in the fourth quarter. It's never been done before. Like, what? It's like sometimes we got some wild records that you should be surprised that nobody broke. You know what I mean? But in this case, he knows, like, he's a Melo fan. He knows that Melo put up 61 in the Garden or 62 in the Garden. So 100%. He was cooking. He's not going to stop cooking as long as he's hitting the shots and not, even when they were isoing for him and moving everybody to the other side, and he was still scoring. So if it's going in and it's working, you got to ride it. You got to go.
They couldn't do nothing with him. Listen, when you hot, you hot. Ain't no point in, There's no point stopping because you're worried about what people are going to say.
Yeah,
like you said, if it wasn't going in and he just was chucking them up and missing every time he was chucking them, but I mean, it was like you said, 50-something% he was making them. It was he was hot. It was like you watched the Melo 62 game. It was it's just something about it. Like when he came out in the third quarter in this game and he dropped 24 in the third, I was like, oh man. oh man, this is about to be crazy.
Mhm.
I was like, this
It's
is
like-
about to be wild.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
No, this is one of those that goes down in like one of those MSG look back reels. You know, like I forget what they do, the rewind, MSG
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rewinds.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, this is one of those games where you're gonna sit back and be like, wow, he really put up numbers. But this is gonna be something that you see consistently throughout his tenure here with the Knicks because he's got it in him. And again, hopefully he has some help around him. Like to legit say that he didn't need to do that is crazy. Like he needed to do that. In order for us to win that game and be in that game, he needed to throw up. He needed to rock out the way he was rocking out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if and then in the closing moments, he also needed to take the last shot as well. Like that's what I was saying. Nobody else was clicking. There was no one else who you can go to rely upon to get a bucket when you needed one. So why not go on the hot hand? And of course, at some point, you're either gonna hit it, you're gonna miss it. It's the luck of the draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want anyone else to shoot it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he made the right
Right.
play, right? Like he made the right play, even though he didn't shoot the last shot. He made the right play. He got double teamed. He kicked it out to, you know what I mean, to Deuce. It was a wide open shot. Deuce shoots it at a high clip. I live with that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I want to be mindful. It's late. You know what I mean? We started a little late and we got Cris here. Don't want to keep him too late. Listen, he's out there protecting us, man, keeping us safe. So, he needs his rest and be able to relax and do what he got to do. But I wanted to just give you guys just a quick recap. Not going to do the whole placeholder thing, but just if you haven't been following the Knicks this week, we basically finished the week in 500 fashion. It wasn't what you would have hoped. You know what I mean? We would have hoped to do a lot better. We had good expectations of what it was going to look like, and it just didn't turn out that way. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing. Sometimes you think that your team's got the upper hand, but that's why you got to play the games, right? You know what I mean? So we started off the week in a situation where we played the Detroit Pistons. So we're already thinking, okay, Detroit's a victory. And it was. We wound up winning 124-99. The Knicks just, came out there. They basically they got whatever they wanted against Detroit. They were in their bag. It was just an easy victory. At the beginning, Detroit stood around, but they wiped the floor with them at the end. 124-99. And then you like, okay, we got to play Toronto the next day. On the the next game. But then you knew Toronto got no Scotty Barnes. Toronto's got no RJ Barrett. Still, out due to the loss of his brother. RIP to his brother and condolences to the family. You got Emmanuel Quickly, who was out, who also had a loss in his family. So he was dealing with some stuff. So you got three big people out for that team, and then a bunch of young guys. Like there was some guys on that court that I didn't even know who the hell they were. And it showed. And the Knicks wound up beating Toronto 145-101. A whopping 44 point difference there. That was a laugher. The only thing I could be upset about is that they allowed Toronto to score 100 points. I'm like, damn it. but it is what it is, man. You can't have it all. You know what I mean? So then we go into San Antonio and we're like, okay, we already got Detroit. We got Toronto. San Antonio, after all the things we're seeing with the upcoming schedule, we should be able to get this one. And we already talked about it. You guys know what happened. Issues with the refs and certain calls we may not have gotten. The fact that the Knicks, basically was sleepwalking through the first half. And then they.
But we got to give credit. We also got to give credit to San Antonio. They were knocking down threes in that first quarter.
Oh yeah,
at a high rate. Like
I was getting there. That's crazy, John, that you brought that up because San Antonio is not a good 3-point shooting team. In fact, they're one of the poorer 3-point shooting teams in the league, and they were hot against us.
As Clyde would
Go
say,
figure.
They're down in the doldrums.
Right, exactly. And dude, they were knocking it down, bro. And also, well, shout out to me because I kind of, I'm no Swami, but I kind of felt that Wemby is a up and down type of player. He can have a regular Wemby game and a little underperforming game, which is what we saw the last time he came to the Garden. His debut at the Garden. Maybe he was a little overwhelmed with everything, but he didn't play well. But I was like, there's a chance we could get the good Wemby tonight. And unfortunately, we got the good Wemby. I mean, 40 points, 20 rebounds. Like, he was cooking us. So, yeah, with all of that, with the Knicks not playing well in the first half, not playing great defense, not closing out on their three-point shooters and kind of letting them get shots because you expect them to miss, and they knock them down. Wemby putting up 40 points and 20 rebounds. You're not going to win a lot of games like that. We were lucky to even have a chance to be there at the final, to get to overtime. We were lucky, but we did it.
That's a
So
fact.
we lost in
and
the
that
end.
was because of Brunson. So anybody out
Right.
there who believes it wasn't, you're misconstrued. It was because of Brunson that we were in the game. I don't care what you say
right.
about him not passing. I wouldn't pass either. If you on my team, I'm not passing you the rock either. That's just what it's going to be.
Well, and then the other thing,
if I'm cooking as a player and I'm hot and you ain't got it going, guess what? Come to me. Because we down 20. We down 15. Come on, man. Nobody else want to shoot the rock.
At one point, we were down 21 in that game, John. So if you look at that and you say, and then Brunson's going to say to himself, we struggled all first half. And then when I went on the bench, we were getting smoked. I mean, it is what it is. Then Brunson goes crazy in the third, right? Puts up the 24 points that Cris pointed out. We get the game really close. We're right there. Actually, I think we might have had a lead. Or it was right there. I don't know. It was right there. Start the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah. Start the fourth quarter. Brunson's on the bench because he played most of the third. We go down 9-0 immediately as soon as he goes to the bench. So, I mean, the game like that, I mean, Brunson's going to say, listen, all right, this is going to be one of them days. I just got to keep going. So I hear you, though. It did break, like it puts guys, it does make guys get stagnant. It does do that, but it's just how you were already not playing well or not shooting well. What are you going to do?
I gave out 6 assists in the first quarter. You ain't doing your job. Guess what? Come to me. That's what it is. I mean, how long are you gonna wait till the team catch up to you,
bro? I don't think the team
cared. That's what I'm saying. Bro. I don't think they did. They were just giving him the rock.
You seen them like 4 plays at the end of the game where they all just went and stood on one side of the court. They was all like, "Yo, go do your thing, bro." And he scored on like two of 4 of them joints.
Mm-hmm.
Just cooking. It was like, yo, listen, we're gonna stand over here with our hands on our knees. You go bring us home, baby.
Yeah, bring us home. We'll go after the rebounds. And they did. And they did just that. And we had a chance at the end. And it was, unfortunate. Like the pressure.
But I hear you.
It was what it was, man.
Yeah.
Because Precious got the rebound and was going to pass it out. And that's where he fumbled the pass.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it comes from like just coming in the game. He got the rebound. It's a little less experience in those moments. Shit happens.
It didn't turn out the way we'd have liked. But I understand what guys like Allah is saying because of the fact that even though it's what
I don't. That's exactly why I said it.
But John, the point is, if you are playing that way, if Brunson is cooking all night, then anybody who's out there, when you then pass him the ball, there's no rhythm for that player. But it's not. But that's just how it is. Like there's nothing you could do about it. That's just how the game was going.
But there are moments in the game where you could get yours. You know what I mean? Like there are moments in the game where you could get yours. Don't tell me that every time down the court he did not swing the ball, because there were moments where he swung the ball and people just swung it right back, or they didn't. They couldn't get there, and then they're going right back into the start of the set where they're going back to Brunson. It's like at that point, if I swung it and you don't go and take your man off the dribble, or you don't go off of that particular set, it comes back to me. Now it's hot potato time, right? I only got but 5-7 seconds left. Now I'm shooting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. That's just what it is.
No, I hear you. I just understand that that is just a natural thing that's going to happen. If you're not cooking, and then somebody else is cooking, and we're letting that guy cook, we're feeding the pig. If he has to come back to me, hey, it could go in, it may not go in. I'm it is what it is.
Right.
I get
but
it.
at that point, then I could see that argument, right? If he's swinging the ball with like 3 seconds left and you forcing a guy to shoot up a bad shot, then I could get it. But like Cris was saying earlier, it's like you aren't like, he's not taking the bad shots. He's going after it, and everybody else is sort of like relying on you to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's like you just got, like, it was meant for it to happen that way. You know what I mean? But to say that the whole story isn't told because he didn't pass the ball, I think that's false. Because the reality is the ball swung around. They didn't want to take those shots. Or they didn't feel comfortable taking those shots because Deuce had
a lot.
Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I watched the same game everybody else did. I noticed it from comparison. His game against San Antonio versus the game prior, where he was like letting it go. Come on.
And, in fairness to Brunson with regards to, like, it's not like you said he was looking for people. He was passing early, which is, I don't want to belabor the point. But he also wasn't shooting well. And then even when he started cooking with his 2-point shot, getting into the lane, getting his layups, he was missing threes. He started playing so well and willed himself up, got himself going in a flow, that then he started knocking threes down. Then he was cooking. Like, it's just you can't knock him. You gotta let it go, because if it wasn't for him, it would have been a blowout, and we would have been talking about, well, you know what, Brunson was our guy. Why didn't he be more aggressive? Why didn't he take more shots? We could have used him. He was hit. That's what it's. You can't win. You can't win. But I hear you though. All right.
I feel like that just solidified him though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that game solidified him. Like, yo, if you need it, he's gonna go get it. Maybe he's a little too tired at the end of the game because whatever. But if you need it, he gonna go get it.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a great look for him, and it puts the casual fans, and I'm not talking about Knicks fans, the casual fans around the NBA. Unfortunately, that's what wakes them up. That's what opens their eyes. Oh, what? Jalen Brunson from the Knicks had 61? Oh, well, this guy, he must be really, he is good, isn't he? That's what happens. You know what I mean?
He'd be telling you that all year.
Yeah. So obviously, they wound up losing that game 130 to 126 in overtime, and then we saw the heartbreaker against OKC. Unfortunately, once again, certain things. I'm just gonna say this because I've been hearing stuff all day today about the Knicks should have hit their free throws, and yes, the refs could have taken the game away from, but if we hit our free throws, we wouldn't have been in that position. Yes, that's 100% fair, and it's true. But I got news for you guys. You know who else didn't hit their free throws?
Yeah.
OKC. OKC is an 83%, free throw shooting team as a team, and they missed a lot of. If they hit their free throws, we could have lost like that because they left points on the board. So I'm just saying, I just want to put that out there. It's not just about us hitting our free throws. OKC gave us opportunities because they missed a lot of free throws for them. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We wound up losing that game, and it was a tough one. Great shot by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander though in the corner. That's not an easy shot to make, and you could see he got a clean look to turn around and make his shot, whereas Brunson's was not clean at all. So. When you don't give him he don't get the right look, and everybody knows it's going to him. We had no deception with regards to our inbound play. It is what it is. So,
what do you feel about the rotations in that game?
I don't know. I only a lot of times I see games twice. This game I only saw once, so I can't really say. I will say that I did some of the stuff that I saw Tibbs doing. I was like, I think that's smart. I thought OKC is pretty much going small at some points, and I think Tibbs was trying to match that energy. And he already had a small unit that he felt comfortable with, and I think it was working. I don't know. I would have to look at it again, but for the most part, I think he did a good job. Towards the end of the game, when he started to kind of get a little tricky with it, I don't know. I mean, some people were like, "Why is Precious in there?" It is what it is. I mean, Mitch was hobbled. Hartenstein had fouled out. Like, who are you gonna go to? Like, I mean, I don't. Who would you go to? That
Mitch didn't play yesterday's game.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Mitch was out
What am I
yesterday's
talking
game.
about?
Yeah, you're mixing it. It was the
Oh no,
game
I'm
before
mixing.
that.
I'm mixing San Antonio. Sorry, my fault.
Yeah, yesterday was just Hart and Precious, Hartenstein and Precious.
No.
And then
Yeah.
he
I
went
was
with Hart
mixing
and
the.
before.
Yeah. My apologies.
Mhm.
I might be in the minority.
I don't know.
I might be in the minority, but I felt like I text my boy. We always go back and forth during the games. I text him going into the fourth quarter. I said, "This feels like a Jalen should be in the whole fourth quarter kind of game," but I already know it's not going to happen. Right? I felt like when you got him down 10, and you know that this is the kind of team that comes back easy. They were flowing so good. Like they already in the end of the third quarter, they already sat Jalen for the last like 2-3 minutes of the third quarter. So they let him get a little blow. I was like, yo, put Jalen back in and put your foot on their neck. You know what I'm saying? And if you could have Devo playing the whole second half, Deuce playing the whole second half, and Hart playing the whole second half, I felt like, yo, you could put Brunson in the fourth quarter and just leave him in. And at the very minimum, I felt like as soon as they went on that 7-0 run and you called that timeout, all right, Jalen, I need you, bro. Like, let's get this back rocking. But it was like, I don't think Burks and Bogdanovich should ever be on the floor at the same time. Ever again. Because that shit just don't work with the two of them. You know what I'm saying?
You might be right.
And then,
you might be right there.
with the two, I feel like Bogdanovich, he do straight when Burks isn't on the floor. But when it's him and Burks, it's just like I feel like it's two people just trying to force their own shots, basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's nobody
like
really
working their own game. You're right, and I think what I was saying is like they're trying to figure out where they fit in the system. You know what I mean? And it's like they're overdoing, like they're overplaying their matchup. Like they're playing not within their skill set. They're doing too much in some senses. You know what I mean? Like they'll get the ball kicked out of them instead of shooting the open three. They're pump faking and they're trying to, you know what I mean? Do too much. It's like you have an open shot, take it. You know what I mean? Even if it's a contested shot at the corner, I'd rather you take that than dribble into a defensive, into the defensive player or a trap or something, and then you're like trying to pass out of a double team. Like those are the things like they're doing too much, and I think they haven't figured it out yet. And I think you're right. I think it may be where you have to play, Burks in spots. You know what I mean, with a certain rotation, and then you do the same for Bojan, because right now they're not clicking together.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. I personally think that Precious should have played more, and I think for me it would have made more sense to like pull Devo out in spots, because he shot us out that game for a lot of it, right? Like he was like 1 for I don't know, 1 for 10, something like that in the first half. And then he got it together in the second half. But then, like, if you're gonna swap guys out, I would have been swapping Devo and Deuce. I would have swapped those two guys. And then if Hart wasn't shooting it right, I would move him. You know what I mean? Like I would have played, but I would have kept Precious in there because we lacked height and athleticism. And I think that was part of the key to like Williams getting his off. Like Williams was pushing people around. You know what I mean? It's like, and you needed to put a body on somebody like that. Even if you have to use up some fouls, you had to get him off his game. And then other players, they got some athletic bigs over there. They aren't like really true bigs. They're like 6'8", 6'9", small forward, power forwards, but they're athletic. And so we could have used Precious in situations like that. I would have played him alongside Hartenstein. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then if you needed the backup, bring in Sims. You know what I mean? For an athletic big, I would have done that. But Sims is sort of like he's liking what he's seeing with this small team, And I can't fault them for it because we played well in a couple of games. But I don't know. I would like to see a little mix up there. I would have personally went that direction.
Yeah, I mean that actually makes sense. You guys both are saying stuff that it makes a lot of sense with regards to the rotation, and something maybe Tibbs needs to really kind of put in his back pocket and consider going forward. But when I'm just looking at the box score right now, and I mean when you really look at it, OKC shot 53% from the field, 38% from three. They beat us 113-112, right? The Knicks shot 30% from three and 41% from the field. But when you look at it, everybody pretty much had a decent shooting game except for DiVincenzo. So unfortunately, DiVincenzo might have been the heel in this one. But on the flip side of that,
he shot it well in the second half.
And he was very active defensively. I mean, he shot. Yeah. He wound up finishing 4 for 18 from the field and 4 for 16 from three. So it was a rough one. But he was playing. He was very active defensively. And the Knicks themselves, kudos to them. Without having without having Mitch, without having OG. I mean, they were playing really good defense on OKC. Even if sometimes it might not look like it because Jalen Williams was cooking us. But that
boy's nice.
And Shea's injured. Like, let's be real.
Right.
Shea is injured. If you watch any bit of Shea, it wasn't like Deuce stopped him. I heard some people saying, "Yo, Deuce locked him." I'm like, stop. Like that's not like there's parts of it that I will say, there are moments, but like Shea's a different player when fully healthy. The shiftiness that you see in Brunson, Shea has that. And Shea also has the athleticism to jump out the gym too. So it's like, like they're not giving them enough credit where credit is due. Like Shea came back not 100%. Deuce did his thing,
and that was his first game back, John.
Right.
Yeah.
But why everybody get uninjured to come to the Garden?
Yeah,
dude, I don't know
you
what
have
it is,
to,
man. I don't know what
Everybody want to get uninjured to come to the Garden. Everybody on the injury report, missing 3-4 games. They said, "Oh, he coming back. He coming to the Garden."
Watch Embiid do the same thing. Watch Embiid do the same thing.
Right.
It's the Garden. It's the Mecca. You talk about
Jalen Williams,
bro. You play against every
John.
home game. You play with like 15,000, 10,000 as a crowd. You come to the Mecca. That's 30, 40 plus. You gotta show up. You gotta show up with. What was surprising? What was that game? Was it Boston that they didn't play nobody? There was a game this year that we were like. It was like, like the Stars didn't play against us.
Oh,
what
Boston!
Game
was it was Boston.
It was Boston, right?
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, how dare you not come to the Garden to play? How dare you, bro? Like you gotta play at the Garden, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I would.
And for whatever reason, somebody's always cooking us when they come to play at the Garden. But in fairness to that Jalen Williams kid, every time we play him, he cooks us. So that kid is nice. So it's a little different with him. Yeah, he
it ain't only us
in the backyard.
It ain't only us though. He be cooking other teams too. Like he a legit number 2. You know what I mean? And they got Chet, and Chet didn't do nothing. Like if anybody got locked down, it was Chet.
And then in my opinion, that's fair. That's fair. And the other thing too is even like Giddey had a triple double every time he plays the Knicks. He gets a triple double. What are we doing?
Every time.
But I will say that if you looked at him, what he was doing was so smart. But how is anybody like? I don't know. I think it was DiVincenzo that was guarding him, but DiVincenzo's 6'4", maybe 6'5", but 6'4". Giddey is 6'9". Like that's a tough matchup for him. He was already towering up. He was just spinning around, and it was right at the rim. Like,
and this is why I'm saying pressure should have been in there more. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you put Hart on Giddey, that changes the game right there. Because then you put pressures on Williams, and you hack the shit out of Williams. Let him make it hard on him to score as much as you can be. Play your best mimic game as you would if OG was on him, right? Because Precious got the ability to challenge small forwards. He has the quickness and athleticism, so you play him on Williams. Make it really difficult for him. And Shea, knowing that he's coming off an injury, you put DiVincenzo on him. You know what I mean? And you play that like quick speed, get up under you, similar to Deuce, because he could have done exactly what Deuce did, but he chose to go small, and I think that was where we I mean, I can't. It's hard because they were up 10. You know what I mean? So how do you get what I'm saying? So it was working, but at certain points of the game, you got to switch it up. You got to be able to make in-game decisions and in-game shifts to help you win the game. And I don't think, Tibbs, I'm not going to go at Tibbs because he showed me this year that he could make in-game moves. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll let him rock.
Yeah, you got to give him a little grace.
It's just that B&B construction, man.
Yeah.
It's just
and sometimes he's not perfect, bro. He's not perfect. So he's gonna go up and down and fall back into his old ways. So that's who he is. Quick shout out to the chat once again. Shout out to Kareem Grant. Appreciate you. Eddie F in the building. Space Ghost. Dripmore, the preferred barber of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community, is in the building. Let's go. Dripmore is here, folks. L Dammit is in the building. Salute L, appreciate you. Shout out to my guy 713 Gamer, said Mind Fizzle for president. Thank you for the generous super chat, my brother. Appreciate you. King Ribby's in the building. Obviously, we appreciate you, my brother. And we've talked about Allah Wise in the building. Salute to you, Allah. Thank you for being here.
I don't agree with you, but I appreciate you.
Stan the Man is in the building. Salute. Please smash that like button on your way in. And if you haven't, smash it on the way out. But only hit it once. You don't got to hit it twice. Appreciate you guys.
Then you're going to unlike it.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're going to unlike it. Right. You don't need that. And also, by all means, guys, feel free to always continue to support if you want. You can join Still Knicks fans as a member. The join button is right there on your screen. You just hit join. Obviously, you can, definitely give super chats if you want to do that. We appreciate it. And you can even buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/stillknickfans. So thank you for always supporting the show and being here and rocking with us. We had a great show tonight with our guy Cris. But right before we get out of here, we got one last thing we got to do, and then we get out of here and everybody gets some rest. Oh, wait. Something's going on.
What's up, fellas?
What up, Jose?
Not much, over here enjoying my iced coffee like always. So as Ron said, buymeacoffee.com/stillknickfans if you want to support us, because we do love coffee here.
Yeah, yes we do.
I love iced coffee. I'm part of the iced coffee gang. It's a very rare gang. It doesn't matter the season that we're in, we're still gonna be drinking iced coffee.
Gang.
Yeah,
I can dig it.
You see, I'm part of like the special breed of that gang, because while most people are drinking it light and sweet, maybe throw some hazelnut in there, I just drink it straight black, no sugar,
Straight
no
black.
milk.
He's a killer.
Black.
This guy's a killer.
This guy's a monster. El Motro, folks. This guy.
Listen. Guys, we got 8 games left. We got 8 games left. So I figured, let me be the nice guy for once today. I know it's April Fool's, but I'm not going to pull any pranks. I promise. So Ron, just watch what you say to me, but I'm not going to pull any pranks. I'm going to let you guys predict the next 8 games. And then, because I'm such a nice guy, come next week, Monday, if you want to change your predictions for the last 4 games, you're more than welcome to. So go ahead, guys. Whoever wants to start it off. You know what? And if you want, because we got Cris here, he started off the show with his amazing music video. We're going to end it off with that music video. You can even let him choose for you.
You know what? No, I'm gonna let Cris, see what he likes here, because I know John would do the same thing, and I'm beating John to it.
Right,
Cris,
just remember,
what
Cris
you think?
is
What
a
you think?
first responder. So we got to show him the respect for the service that he provides for us.
Appreciate that.
And if Cris guessed incorrectly for y'all, we still got to show him love,
Facts.
Well, he needs to know that at the end of this is a steak dinner, right? So, either
There's
Ron or I
no
will
pressure,
win.
Cris. No pressure. So it's either a win or a loss. What you thinking?
First game,
Yep.
got to get that dub. I think it's a dub.
All right. What about Sacramento versus New York? And this is all on you. We did beat him last time, but it's up to you.
I'm thinking that's probably going to be the toughest one, but I still would say that's a dub. That's in the Garden.
Yeah.
They're going to get that dub.
In the Garden.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Then we got New York versus Chi-Town. Chicken in the car can't go. Chicago.
Sorry, I got to go with the dub on that one too.
I'm liking where this guy is going, folks. I'm telling you, Chris is here for a reason.
Okay.
Oh boy, now this might be our toughest test. I don't know. Depends on which team shows up. But it's New York versus Milwaukee.
Hey man, listen. You seen what we did to the first team in the West last night? I'm not worried about Milwaukee, man.
Okay.
Talk
I'm
about
not worried
it.
about Milwaukee. I'm not worried about Milwaukee. They not the same. They've been straight, but they not all who they cracked up to be. So I'm saying we're going 4-0 this week.
There we go,
Nice.
baby. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm saying we're going 4-0 this week.
Let's go. Okay.
John,
Listen,
Okay.
what about you,
Wow.
John?
Well, listen, I like to be a little different because I really want this steak dinner. So we're gonna get a loss somewhere in there. So I'm gonna say we're gonna play our hearts out against Miami in Miami. We're gonna come away victorious in Miami,
Okay.
and then that travel home is gonna be so tiring that we're gonna lose the sack, and then we're gonna win against Chicago, and we're gonna take the win against Milwaukee. There we go. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, okay.
There we
I mean,
go.
You put some
I'm
logic
try-
behind it. Okay.
I'm trying to win the steak dinner.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. You know, the crazy part is I get the steak regardless, so it doesn't really matter for me.
Yeah. Some people
wins
just
either
win.
way.
You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
people just win.
I don't get paid enough, so I might as well get something out of this whole competition.
Facts.
you
I
know?
mean, coffee and steak.
Coffee and steak. Yep. That's what my life amounts to. Anyways, we got 4 more games, which is going to end off the
Ooh,
season
look at
for
this.
us.
Oof.
So you know what, Ryan? You actually chose first for this week. So John, you have to start it off.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do exactly like one guy, Ron did real quick, and let Chris take this for me.
Oh,
And
come
then
on,
see
man.
if Ron switches that up. Let's go.
You're doing too much right now. I feel like this week is going to be a little bit harder to predict. Right? I think they're going to take the win against Chicago. If we looking at Boston as Boston, they probably going to lose.
Now let's think about
However,
the timing.
This is what I'm saying.
This.
This is what I'm
let's
saying.
go.
This is where that's where it gets hard.
Chris
though,
gonna help
because
me win this steak dinner. Let's go.
this is where it gets hard because my thought is Boston's already got the number 1 seed locked down. So are they going to rest everybody? But I don't know. That's why I
Boston's so
can't
good.
really.
Boston,
Yeah, I don't-
Boston's so good, Chris.
Nah, I mean they good, but is their backups that good? I'm gonna say that's the loss right there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just throw that one out there. And then they're gonna take the last 2 home.
Yeah, you can't lose at home,
Brook-
right?
You ain't losing to Brooklyn.
Facts. Not at
Can't
home.
lose to Brooklyn. Nah. I mean, even if they play in Brooklyn, they at home.
True.
It's a home game both places.
Right.
Facts.
Well,
Brooklyn,
Chris,
like,
I want to thank you for winning this year's predictions for me right now. I don't know how much I'm up or if I'm down, but I know this one right here is gonna locked in me. Let's go. Ruth
right,
Chris in the house.
Ron, last 4
mhm.
games of the season. What you predicting, man?
Win. when and when.
Ooh.
Knicks gonna need these last 4 games for seeding purposes. We coming out with our A game, no rest. Brunson's gonna need the rest, but Thibodeau ain't gonna give it to him. Win. Boston's gonna rest their players. Win. Let's go.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for predicting these next 8 games. Excuse me. Like I said, I'm gonna be a nice guy. Come next week, Monday. After this week's results, if you want to change your predictions, you can change it. John, I don't know if you want to change your predictions because we had our guest tonight choose the predictions for you. He's a first responder. He's risking his life out there every day. So if you change his predictions, shame on you.
That's right.
And then shame on the people who are not supporting us and not buying us coffee. We need coffee to survive these next 8 games. So please support us out there.
Right.
We need coffee.
Not to mention, we've been up since like 9, right? We up to almost 11. We definitely need some coffee.
Yeah, I'm going into overtime, so let me get off. Catch you guys later.
Later.
Appreciate you, brother. Oh man, it's another good one, man. Another good one. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in on this busy Monday night with other Knick content stuff, and then also the NCAA women's basketball game between LSU and Iowa. I know everybody's attention has kind of been spread apart, but thank you for showing love and tuning in. And then Replay Gang, if y'all haven't seen it but plan on checking it out, thank y'all for tuning in whenever you can, showing love to myself, John, and Jose, and also our very special guest, Cris Jordan, creator of the 24 Anthem, for our New York Knicks. Cris, man, listen, where can people find you if they want to hit you up, or if they just want to hey, man, Cris, what you got going on, man? We love that anthem. Where can they holler at you, brother?
It's Cris Jordan, just the same way it's spelled, Cris Jordan Music. You can find that on Twitter or X, whatever they call it now. If you type in on YouTube, Cris Jordan, Go New York Go, 24, that's going to pop up. And then No Capes, NOCAPES campaign on Instagram.
Oh, dope. No Capes campaign. Got it.
Yeah, that's
Fire,
real heroes
fire,
don't wear
fire.
capes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fact.
Fire. All right, man. I appreciate you once again. Well, should I say
appreciate you
we
guys,
appreciate you once again. Thank you for being here and rocking with us, man.
Thanks for having
This
me.
has been fantastic. Dope conversation. Dope to meet another fellow Knick fan. And outside of what you're doing, I mean, you just a cool dude just to chop it up and talk Knicks with. So yeah, man. If
Appreciate that.
ever we got anything going on, any events or whatever, and you're free, not working, and would definitely love to have you come out to one of our events and chop it up with you and meet you in person, and or just get you back later in life on the show, man. Because it looks like you've been doing some really good things with your music, man, and we'd love to have you and feature whatever you got cooking up in the future, man. We definitely will be here to support you, bro.
Definitely, man. I appreciate y'all for sure.
Thank you. Final words, John?
Yeah, man. As I always say, everybody, appreciate you all out there in YouTube and on X and everywhere else that we're streaming out to. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Be safe, be happy, and looking forward to the next one, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the 33 of y'all that are out there on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Thank you guys for tuning in and showing love. Fridays, depending on when the Knicks play, we work around the schedule for the NBA wrap-up on Nothing But Knicks, and also the wrap-up on the front stoop with my guy Eru, Diehardknicks. You guys know who he is. And then if you haven't had enough of seeing this beautiful mug right here, again on Saturday for Know the Ledge, where I talk y'all off the ledge. And it's pretty dope that we got Cris here, first responder, because he knows something about that. He's always living on the ledge, out there supporting and being there for us and keeping us safe, man. So once again, shout out to Cris and all his brothers in arms. We thank you so much for your service and everything you guys do for us. So this has been another great show, guys. Hey, have a great rest of your night. Take care of yourself. Kiss your loved ones, stay blessed. And let's go Knicks, man. Hope for the best, man. We out.
We are the New York York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks.
Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New Year, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City unis, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it. The year is 24 and the Knicks are hardcore. Tibbs defense been making it hard to score.
Junkyard dog.
Trained in the art of war. Heart hit the floor and start flying like parkour. Brunson cooking them like a Bunsen burner. The chemistry between this team is unheard of. That Villanova connection so fraternal. Devo catch flames in his Dante's Inferno. Sterno. Heat teams like barbecue chicken. Even through the injuries and all, we still ticking, still sticking to the script. It's real gritty. This is still the Mecca, the garden is still litty. It's the Knicks city. Nobody mentioning Nets. We got now when ain't nobody getting next. Respect the set. Whole gang been catching wreck. All game is Wu-Tang, protect your neck. Name a squad with this heart that be hard to find. Boys get bullied by some guy named Hartenstein. OGs locked down and there's no keys. Precious really been a blessing, no sneeze. Bro, please, this team's getting dismantled. All-Star Randall been making it hard to handle. They talk smack, bet the boys gon' get him. Perks came back and brought Boyan with him. Mitch is on the men, he'll be back on the block soon. Deuce value going up in the stock room. Keeping up in the standings, we on pace. Whole city gearing up for the championship race. 50 years plus, the fans are still waiting. Kenny switched up, but Candace still hating. Perk told him big body Brunson been 1A. Leon got us about to take off on the runway. Sims protect the rim, he go hard in the paint. Spike still getting hype at the Garden every game. Dishing and swishing and Knicks doing they thing. Every big three, Mike Breen still yelling bang. We taking over arenas, we make trips. They big mad, I know that they hate this. Underrated teams, we stay on their short list. We are New York, we are the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City unis, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.